Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. MarkyJoe1990 here, as I always seem to announce myself. Anyway, I'm gonna ramble for a bit, so if you're not into that, feel free to leave the video. Firstly, I'd like to apologize for the lack of videos lately. I just haven't been in the mood for it because college has been annoying me on the shoulder, poking my neck and saying, "Hey, can I go get ice cream?" And I always keep telling him, "No! Stop asking me." But he keeps doing it. Anyway, yeah, college. Not a lot of classes that I like, but I kind of had to take them anyway because they were part of my college credits. I especially hate Oceanography class because it is a 5.5 hour long class and it's completely pointless, except for the second half. The first half, basically, what the teacher does is she gives us a PowerPoint presentation and talks about oceanography. The problem with this is that she has it online and I could just read it instead, which is a lot easier and less time consuming, and plus my teacher kind of rambles a bit. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. But anyway, the second part of the class is not as annoying because it's the lab work, which means we get to do stuff, which I'm not very fascinated with, but it's just really boring. Next class we got computer mathematics, which is a class where we learn to make a computer do math for us. That's basically what it is. We're currently learning JavaScript, and my teacher's kind of confusing me with that part, but it doesn't look all that hard. I have done HTML programming before, CSS, Moog encoding, and I've done a little bit of JavaScript, so I have a general idea of what he's talking about. Next class, American Literature, which is like super easy. Most of the homework is just read 3 pages of this and then write a paragraph about it, which is incredibly easy. Then there's Cinema Studies, which, oh my god, my teacher has the most boring voice ever. And I shit you not, people, he really is boring Johnson Kennedy person. Like, that didn't even make any sense. Anyway, but this to give you an idea of his voice, imagine Ben Stein with like slightly more enthusiasm, but 50 times as much redundancy. This guy is so mesmerizingly difficult to be interested in. And since I have attention deficit, it's especially difficult for me because it's just I have a short attention span, which is why I act so weird and so hyperactive in my videos. I'm basically what you would call appealing to like hyperactive kids. But anyway, we watch movies in that class. We read unlike American Literature where we read like 3 pages and then write a paragraph about it. It has us read a whole bunch of shit and then we write a 2 page thing or just a journal entry on it. We got do journal entries on the movies we watch in class and all that jazz. I just don't like it. Then there's swimming class, which I love swimming, but I noticed that I get extremely fatigued very quickly, and I'm not as good at swimming as I thought I was. I was swimming on the deep end, which, is reserved for the more experienced swimmers, and I'm like, yeah, I'm swimming. And then the teacher sees me kind of struggling, and then he says, all right, you need to fix up your stroke a bit. Come onto this, from now on, just come onto this side. I don't think you're ready for this. And, I was a little down by that, but, it's just swimming, and I do want to improve. What are my other classes? Oh, yeah, Art Appreciation, which is the class I had today. It's probably the only interesting class of the bunch, because my teacher is actually pretty good at lecturing. He can remain interesting as he lectures, and he does a lot of like drawing and pictures. And on top of that, he has us watch movies which are actually really good. There was one I forgot the name of the author, but his name. Wait, no, I don't remember the. Sorry, the author of the movie is Banksy, which is like this graffiti artist, but I don't know the title. But it was a really good movie. I never realized just how interesting graffiti art really is. So the class is doing a good job at making me appreciate art. And the class doesn't have any homework either. You just gotta do like this big project thing, do the midterm and the final, and that's pretty much it. So it's pretty nice. And that's been taking up a bit of my time. Other times I just don't feel like doing stuff all the time. Most of the time on my free time I'm just watching other people's LPs. Especially Big Dip on a Bus, who is like my favorite LPer. I'm really obsessive about him. I listen to his LPs in my sleep. I probably shouldn't have said that, but all right. I'll explain that. I'll explain how that happened first. Okay? So don't like pin me off as being some sort of stalker. But I have a lot of sleeping issues. I can't fall asleep because I have a bit of a computer addiction. So what I decided to do one night was, well, I hear that background noise is helpful for helping somebody sleep, so I put on Big Dip on a Bus's LP of Pikmin 2. And I slept, and then eventually I became very. It did become easier for me to fall asleep. Of course, I still went to bed. I still go to bed very late, but it really does help me sleep because on top of depression, I have really bad anxiety issues, especially social anxiety. I'm not very good at talking. Well, I am. I'm a good conversationalist, but when it comes to talking to people about myself, like people right in front of me, I get really choked up. I am not very open about myself. At least when I'm coexisting with the person and not just speaking into a computer recording my voice. Damn, where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about Big Dip on a Bus. I really love his LPs. I used to like Raocow. I used to be just as obsessive with him as I am with Big Dip on a Bus right now. But after a while, I felt like Raocow was losing his touch. And some of you might notice this, but a lot of my commentary is actually inspired from Raocow. The whole randomness and just non sequitur. Of course, I'm not as non sequitur as him. I prefer to have a bit of non sequitur and a bit of informativeness. And I also feel very opinionated, which is something that he's developed over time as well. But like he's too opinionated and too unfunny now. Then again, I don't really consider myself funny either. I think I've been losing my touch as well. But, what I think is bad, other people might. And that's kind of why I am still continuing the Tick LP. Even though I know it's horrible, there are some people who actually enjoy it. And I really don't like how in the past I would always start a playthrough of something and never finish it. Like for example, my Mike Tyson's Punch-Out LP, which I never finished. That was unfortunate because I really like Punch-Out, but I really don't like how I don't finish what I start. So even though The Tick is a terrible LP, those are the two reasons why I still continue it. I feel I should be committed and drop this habit of just dropping shit spontaneously, and because some people like it. I do have some other stuff I plan to do in the future. I just don't feel like doing LPs for a bit because I'm just lazy and I just don't feel like it. There hasn't been that much else going on. I've been talking to Lewis a lot. Like, I know some of you who have subscribed to me know about Luizprower. Me and him are very, very close friends. And we talk a lot. Like, one day we actually spent like 6 hours or more talking. Within like the second half of our conversation, we just spent all of it reminiscing about the chronology of us meeting and becoming close friends. It was really nice, and I felt that really helped him feel good too. Having friends is nice. It is a good thing. So remember, kids, have friends or else I'm going to jump into your house and murder your children that you don't have. I just remembered something else. A while back, I made an FAQ where I asked people to ask me questions, and I only got like the first part up. There's a reason why I didn't upload the other two parts, is because something really embarrassing happened and I was too embarrassed to bring it up. So I'd like to just take a moment to ask everybody, anybody who cares at least, to ask me questions and I'll answer them in the next video. I probably won't be doing any video game related videos for a while. I just want to ramble a bit and like answer people's questions because that's the only thing I feel like doing right now. What else? The Rage Fest. Oh wait, something Fire Emblem related. Some of you have noticed I haven't been doing much Fire Emblem lately. I will get back to it, but right now I'm just currently not interested in doing stuff Fire Emblem related. I had like a huge bunch of Fire Emblem stuff done, and I think I just decided that I needed a break. But don't worry, I'll be back to that. But additionally to that, I've been requested to basically make a document expressing my philosophies towards level design in Fire Emblem Hacks. And I just want to know if people are interested. I'm probably going to do it regardless of how many people are interested, but I definitely want to hear some opinions on it. Perhaps leave a comment explaining what you think is a good design idea and stuff. You know, that kind of stuff. By the way, there's probably a racing picture in this video because I always do that for my rambles and my announcements and for my obligatory sexy racing transitions. I'm just going to take a moment to comment on the one that's on my on this video right now. Oh yeah, it sure is sexy and nice looking, even though I don't see it, because I'm recording this using Audacity and not looking at any particular pictures that I intend to use for this video. Oh man. Fap, fap, fap. Anyway, I think that's all I want to say for now. Thank you all for listening. Marky Joe 1990.